right. Hello, guys. Welcome to my second sprint, my very first Preptober sprint. Hi, hello. I'm here. I hope that this is live and you can see me. Hello, thanks for stopping in. Hey, Hattie, how's it going? All right. We're here. We're ready. I'm hoping that this is working. Just gonna wait a few minutes to get started officially, see if anybody kind of comes in. Hi, hello. I hope you're doing well as well. I'm doing pretty good today. I'm dealing with like a runny nose, which is not fun because like it's constant and I just don't know what to do with it. Won't go away. But other than that, pretty good. I've been today earlier I was working on Project Dream Book 1 and trying to get Draft 2 finished because I need to do that before I start the next one because I've decided for Preptober to work or for NaNoWriMo to do the second book, start the second book, which is very exciting. Project Dream Book 2. Very nice. Congrats. I love, like, that's the one thing I always need to figure out is how to end a book before I can even start writing it. Because as long as I have somewhere that I'm going to, then I'm like, how I get there is it becomes a little bit easier. Do you know what I mean? It just becomes easier to figure out how I can get through the book, even though I've like said many times on my channel, and it is one of the things that bothers me the most, but like the Act 2, second half of Act 2 always just bogs me down because I'm like, this is the most important part of the story. One of the most important parts, I guess, arguably, is the second half of the book. You don't want it to be weighed down by anything. But now I'm just going on a tangent that probably doesn't make any sense. But anyways, yes. What do you guys that are here, anyone that's here, what are you guys working on today? If you're working on anything, Preptober-wise, NaNoWriMo-wise, let me know. As I said, I'm going to be, oh no, I didn't actually say, because I have been working on Project Dream Book 1, the second draft of that, this morning. I'm not quite yet at my word count. I have word count for the day. I'm like maybe just about 600 words away from hitting that word count. So that should be better and easy to get through within the first sprint, hopefully. And then after that, I'm going to work on outlining and brainstorming for NaNoWriMo because I have yet to really do that. I did earlier today kind of start with my lovely notebook. I kind of did start a little bit of like book 2 brainstorming and like planning and a little bit more world building and that kind of stuff. So, you know, all of the things. So I'm going to work more on that. And I actually have, where did I put it? I have my writing Bible with me, Save the Cat Writes a Novel, and I'm going to use this today. Go back into that and do all the things. Whew, 4 point of views. That's incredible. Yeah, the ending is so fun because, like, I don't know how you have your story written, but I always like the big, like, darkest moment, and then when everyone comes together again and that kind of stuff. I always like doing that with like multiple point of views because then you bring all the storylines together and they all start to knit together somehow. So fun. But that's the best when you can kind of have it and like it can be its own book but can also leave it open for more. I love that. I love that. Hello, Maya. Welcome. Pre-writing and research. Very cool. What kind of research are you doing? Are you doing like a historical novel of some kind or fantasy, or what are you doing for your project? But yeah, I don't know. Have any of you read Save the Cat? Because I've read it now like twice and I love it with my whole heart. I love structure. It is one of my favorite things. And Save the Cat, I just love the structure that's introduced in this so much. So much. Yeah, I really like at the very beginning of this that it talks about multiple point of views, because that was one of the things that when I was reading this, I was writing Project Dark, which was at the time 3 point of views. Now it's only 2 point of views. But I was sitting there, I was like, how do I do this for 2 points of view? And in this, it's like, oh, you do one for your like main character, because there is always one character that is the main character, even though you have multiple main characters with points of view. And then it like talks about how like you should do a beat sheet for like the whole book as a whole, and then a beat sheet for each of their storylines, which is like a lot of work, but also really fun. I adore this book. If you guys haven't like picked it up and read some of it, definitely do. But I think today, as like once I get past the rest of my drafting that I do, I think I'm going to kind of reread a little bit of this and decide and hope, or not really decide, but hope it like jogs something in my mind to start really solidifying a plot for Project Dream Book 2. Historical fiction, 19th century. That is coming right for my heart. I absolutely love the 19th century. Oh, it's so good. Victorian era is my favorite era. Oh, with fabulous elements. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is about like researching books or like historically heavy books. They terrify me to even try and start do something like that, because like that's just so much work. I just good job to everyone out there who writes historical fiction, because you guys are heroes. That's so much research. Yes. Victorian era is my favorite era. I love it so much. All right. Well, since we've reached this kind of point, shall we dive into our very first sprint of the day? Hattie needs to get more work done on her chapter summaries. 22 more to go. You got this. I believe in you. That's a lot of chapter summaries, but I think we're going to be going for about 2 hours today. Maybe make it, because it's 3 o'clock right now, my time. So maybe around 5. Probably get 4 sprints in if each of the sprints are like 20 minutes long. So, I don't even have the timer set up. Oh no. Ah, no. There we go. Now I figured out how to do it. Okay. So, but yes, are we ready to start sprinting, my friends? Are we ready? Are we ready to do this? I gotta share my screen. Application window. Okay, so now you guys can see this. We are going to start none of my banners have lasted from the last time, so we're going to go first sprint. Add banner, and we're going to get rid of this one, and we're going to put this one in. And all right, friends, let's do this in 3, 2, 1. Let's sprint. Oh my goodness. All right, friends. That was the first sprint. That went way too fast for me. Oh my goodness. How did everyone do? How did we do? How do we feel about that one? I ended up drafting. I hit well over the amount of words that I needed to get for today, and I'm nearly done the scene, which is good, which is very good, because I think on the next sprint, I'm just going to wrap up that little scene and then get to planning book 2, which is fun. Fun and terrifying to think about. Oh, Hattie, are you going to be a NaNoWriMo? What did I just say? NaNoWriMo rebel? That would be so fun. I think if you really want to, if you feel like you're at a place where you can start writing, go for it. Because, like, we make our own rules, right? We make our own rules. Totally do. And it'll give you a head start on getting to that 50,000 word goal, if that's what you're doing for NaNoWriMo. Very nice. Very nice. Always good to get things more summarized. What about everyone else? What did you guys do? How much work did you get done? I don't know how dark it is for you guys whenever I like vanish into the darkness. Oh, of course you don't work anymore. That's great. My lamp over here doesn't work. I also have some Halloween candy sitting next to me, which is always really fun. Nice. We love some NaNoWriMo rebels in here. Yeah. I mean, I think once when I was working on one of my projects a long time ago, a few years ago, I think it was one of the original drafts of Project Dark, I ended up telling myself that I was going to do a like scene by scene summary of the project. So just I knew like where I was going and what scenes I had to write and stuff like that. And as I was writing it, or as I was doing that, I actually started writing the book. So I was doing both at the same time, which was interesting because like things would change as I went, which automatically kind of moved everything off track and stuff like that. So yeah, and literally everything I write is over 50,000 words. That's not so I totally understand you. I totally understand you. Um, this is a fun question. Are you guys like when you write, do you overwrite or do you underwrite and then have to go back in and add scenes? Because I know usually I'm the kind of person who overwrites all the time. And by the time I'm done a draft, it's like 130,000 words. And even then, like I want to go in and change the story, but then I have to go back and like actually start cutting stuff out. The only time I didn't do that was with Project Dream because it's a middle grade and I finished it in 56,000 words, just like getting through the story as fast as I could. But once I finished, I realized I was missing so many scenes to make it the like autumnal, Halloweeny kind of spooky book that I wanted it to be. So I was like, got to go in and add those. So now I'm thinking that this draft is probably going to hit around the 70,000 word mark, which is like perfect sweet spot for middle grade, I think, from what I've heard. Winning Monday. Ooh, that's exciting. So you're like 100% want to start or want to finish all those chapter summaries before you get into it. That's good. That's like keeping that anticipation there so that you can just dive right in. It'll be so good. And I mean, it's like we're what, 7 days away from NaNoWriMo? Just go for it. Yeah, that is honestly such a mood. I don't know if any of you guys watch Christine Riccio over like Extine May, her stuff. I like got into her channel when she was doing her like writing journal type things for her first book, Again But Better. And I was watching it. I remember her saying that she wrote like 180,000 words in her first draft for a contemporary novel. And I was blown away. I was like, really? a contemporary novel? What are you including in this story?" And then she got it down to like the typical contemporary novel length, which was I think it was under 100,000 words, which is like the amount of cutting and redoing that you would have to do. Oh, but like I get it for historical fiction and fantasy. Those you can write forever in those because there's just so much you can play with, which is so fun. Ooh, what was the project, Hattie? I'm curious. I'm very curious. And that's really good that like one project, but you finished it. Like when I was younger and I wanted to like all my life I've said that I wanted to be an author, wanted to be a writer, but I could never finish what I started. I would come up with story ideas and just kind of write like the first few chapters or intensely build the world, but then never do anything with it. Like I never finished anything until grade 12 when I finished my first contemporary novel. And that feeling of just complete relief that I could actually finish something was huge. So congrats on finishing that. That's crazy. And it's not even like I was just not even able to finish a draft. I don't know if I could actually like edit. I, like, oh, I am an editor by trade, and I want to be like a fiction editor as my career eventually as I work my way up. But I have yet to really get past a second draft with any project that I've worked on. So I'm really hoping that now, with what I'm doing, with Project Dream being on the second draft stage, that I can now go through it and like story wise, I can edit that forever. But it's like making it an actually cohesive story that I need to work on. Yeah. I loved that. I loved that. Oh God. Project Blue, different realms. This sounds so cool. You guys are so creative. Like Maya with her Victorian, like, you guys. War between humans and demons. I love it. I love it. Oh my God. Yes, same. I'm actually one of those people that I've always like not really loved the whole like angel trope in YA that came out when I was in high school, like with Hush Hush and all those kind of things. But when it comes to like demons and like otherworldly stuff and dealing with like different dimensions and different realms, that interests me so much. And I have not read enough books about it. So good for you, Hattie. I'm excited to read it one day. Oh my gosh, well, happy early birthday. Oh my gosh, turning 21. You'll be officially legal everywhere in the world. I know, because you're from the UK, right? Like, so you probably are already legal there to like drink and stuff. But I'm from Canada, so our legal age of drinking is 18. But I know in the States it's 21. So officially you'll be legal everywhere. But yeah, happy early birthday. My goodness, 48 days. Your birthday is in December? It's a late birthday, but it's super fun. That's really exciting. Well, friends, shall we just dive right into this next sprint? I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the need to go back, finish my draft, and then start planning book 2. I'm so excited about it because I have like stuff in my brain. 2 weeks before Christmas Day. That's super exciting because it's like it gives you like a super wonderful time of year to have a birthday because like I love Christmas time and it's just so beautiful. But it also gives you like enough distance from from Christmas that it's not like if you were born on Christmas Day. My grandpa was born on Christmas Day and he always like had to share his birthday with Christmas. So like terrible. Uh, incredible. You're unearthing like the typical, most classic fantastical elements that like I miss in fantasy novels. Like I think the only one that I've really read that has all of that, I think the 2 that I read is like Lord of the Rings and then Aragon. They have like the classic elements of elves and dwarves and stuff. I actually have a like adult fantasy idea in my head for like a series of novels that deals with elves and all this classical stuff like pulled out of like the lore of D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like that's going to be really fun when I give the brain space to it enough cuz I got too many other projects on the go. Anyways, shall we dive into sprint number 2, my friends? Keep this train a going. Sprint number 2 should take us right until about the hour mark. So let's do it. Let's just dive right in. Where's my ticker? There we go. Second sprint. All right. Let's do this. Okay, friends. Are we ready? In 3, 2, 1. Let's sprint. And just like that, my friends, we have reached the end of the second sprint. Ah. How did we do? How did we do? How are we feeling? I finished that scene. Very happy with myself. Finished the chapter, actually. I ended up writing well over 3,000 words today, which is way too many words. Well, not way too many, because it's bringing me closer to the end of this book, but more than I needed. A lot more than I needed to get to today. So that's awesome. And in that last minute, I didn't realize that was going to take me the full 20 minutes, but I pulled my notebook closer. I have Save the Cat open now. And I'm first going to, number one, once we start the third sprint, I'm going to answer the 3 questions that's introduced right at the beginning of Save the Cat, talking about your hero. What does your hero want? What does your hero need? And what is a problem that needs fixing in their life? So I'm going to do that because I did that for book 1 with my main character, Abby. And I'm going to kind of do it again, which is fun because the first book or whatever that I wrote, I have a list of things to answer each of those questions. Where did I? Yeah. Like whole ton of problems. And she gets a solution to one of them by the end of book 1. So we're gonna have to line up a bunch of new problems and a new want and stuff like that, because she's a different person in the beginning of the first book. All right, Hattie got 3 chapter summaries done. Incredible. Look at you go. So that's what, less than 20 left to go? Or because you got a few done last time too, so like 15 or 16 left to do? That's pretty awesome. You're killing the game today, Hattie. I'm excited to start diving into book 2. I'm worried, but excited. Excited to start drafting and really excited to start planning this out, because I need to see where the story is going to go into book 2. And then really book 2 is going to tell me if there's going to be only a book 3 or also a book 4. It's going to tell me. I don't know how it is, but it's going to. Ooh, that's exciting. I mean, we have an hour left roughly of these sprints, because then it becomes 5 o'clock my time, and then I have other things I need to read, and I should probably go help with dinner. So that's exciting. But yeah, definitely continue on. I don't know how late that's going to be for you, but I know that Sarah and Autumn are doing sprints tonight, 8 o'clock my time. So in 4 hours from now, that's going to be really late for you. But there's got to be some other person doing sprints on the internet at this time that you can hopefully get on, or just plow on your own. Reordering Scenes. Very nice. Yes, it is. I always find that rewriting is easier, because that's the way you can really tell the story you want. I have yet to get to the point where I can actually rewrite sentences because fix the sentences and make them as beautiful as I want them to be, because I've never gotten to that point in a project, which is sad, but I'm excited to get there, because yeah, rewriting is always easier for me. I actually have a big scene coming up that I need to completely twist and write in Project Dream Book 1, that I need to rewrite and bring down and attach to something else, so that it has more of an effect, because if you're like me and you like story structure, I have the beats or whatever figured out of the story, and I originally had an all is lost moment, and then Dark Night of the Soul, which lasted pretty long, which is what it's supposed to. All is lost is supposed to be one moment, but then something would get better, and then another Dark Night would come too. So I need to bring both of those Dark Nights together and make it a moment. It makes sense in my head because I have like the chapter summaries in front of me of the chapters that I wrote and what needs to like be brought together and stuff like that. So it's just making the story, the end of the story, a little bit more concise, which is exciting because we're getting there. We just hit what used to be chapter 19, but now is going to be chapter 21, I believe. I don't really know because I did add, I believe, yeah, chapter 21 is what I'm on, but I think I need to go back through once it's all done and like reorder the chapters a little bit because some chapters are like over 3,000 words. Some of them are like between the 2,000 and 2,500 mark. So I need to make sure the chapters are all around the same length and pretty short because middle grade chapters are very short. So I probably will end up having to make more chapters, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. It's fun. 16 more chapter summaries. Good stuff, Hattie. You're gonna be so quick. Yeah, I think their stream is gonna be sometime in the morning time for you. Well, in the morning. Line level revisions. Yeah. What a mood. For Project Dark, one of my other things that I've been working on for like 5 years. I just keep rewriting the plot. I keep changing it, going, no, the story isn't right. And so like it's just I don't even know what draft number I'm on. I just keep calling it like a first draft. I guess this previous draft that I just did was a complete rewrite. So it's like, but in a different way because it was a complete rewrite and a complete changing of one of my character's stories. And also changing from first person to third person. But most of it did stay the same. So like in my head, it's like draft 1.5, not even draft 2. I really don't know because then I went back through and like edited it really fast. It was my rush edits one that I did like a rush edit video on that I just needed to clean it a little bit to make it better to send to my friends. So maybe it's a draft 2 for that one. I have no idea where that book is. It's 5 years too long to be honest, but it's okay. It's a-okay. Anyways, all right, I've been talking for like 8 minutes now. Yep, going on 6 years. And I mean, like, it's totally fine to take a long time to write a book. Like, look at V.E. Schwab. She just released The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and she'd been writing that for 10 years. So, like, we know it's possible to work on a book forever and then get it published eventually, or finally actually come to the end of it eventually. But I just needed to, like, get it out of my head. So, for the rest of 2020, not going to work on that one. I'll go back to it when I, like, get the urge to go back to that story. It's not super important. I got other things I can work on now, which is nice because I went for so long without having a project that was like needling at my brain to be worked on. And then I got Project Yellow, which is something that I was possibly going to do for NaNoWriMo. I'm not. It's too much work. I'll unearth that one in probably 2020, early 2020 to start working on that one. That one was probably going to be brought up to one of the main burners in my head, and then Project Dark is probably going to go down a little bit just so I can work on new things, work on fresh things, because that project needs to be shelved for a bit, I think. But yeah. Anyways, shall we dive into sprint number 3, my friends? Is it about I messed up. I'm sorry. I'm back. I accidentally swiped backwards on my. Did I say early 2020? Yes, I mean early 2021. Yes. 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 I'm sorry. I swiped back on my screen and it brought me back to the broadcast studio entrance page. Yes. Yeah, witches, murder, glamour, and all that kind of stuff. And I think it could be really, really, really fun. And in my head, it's a duology, which is something that I've never done. I've also never written a sequel before, which is what book 2 for Project Dream is going to be. But everything that I write is in like series length in my head. Like nothing is a good standalone. So it's going to be interesting to eventually write a standalone because I do want to. I think my standalones will probably be like contemporary or romance based. But anyways, but talking about you want, let's just dive into sprint number 3, shall we? I'm losing my voice. But yes, let's dive into sprint number 3. I don't know why it's not letting me share my screen. There we go. All right, friends, let's just do this. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. Sprint. All right, my friends, that brings us to the end of our third sprint. Amazing, amazing. I hope you all did well. What did you guys get done? How are you guys doing? Still thriving? Still working? I hope. And Maya said, all her books are standalones. This is going back to our previous conversation. Yeah, I don't think I've ever come up with an idea that's a standalone. There's just the way that I formulate ideas, there's so much that could go on, and there's so many layers that I'm just like, it has to be longer. It has to be multiple books to get all this story in. 5 more chapters Summer's done. Oh my gosh, you only have 11 more. You may be able to start writing tomorrow, Hattie. That's incredible. Oh, you're just blowing through them. You're getting into a groove. I love it. I love it. What about anyone else? Anyone else watching? What are you guys doing? Definitely join the chat. I ended up starting my brainstorming on this page and this page of my hero, of Abby, my main character's problem, want, and a need, multiples of those. And then like starting to think about what the main problem of this story is going to be. And that's exciting. Things are good. I have yet to actually start like formulating ideas into the Save the Cat beat sheet, but I'll get there. I will get there. I think that's maybe what I will do in this next one. Sort of start doing the skeleton-y frame of it all. Perhaps it's the official making of a Scrivener file for this project that kind of freaks me out a little bit, because like once I do it, it means it's going to happen. It's official. And it's looking at those blank pages that kind of freaks me out. So that's why I like, or blank screens kind of freaks me out. That's why I like writing in notebook form, because it's not formal in any way, you know? But yeah. Yeah. Oh, I am, I don't know how many days are there until, what's today? 24th. So we have 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. That was wrong. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, so like 7 days left until the end of October and the beginning of November, which is the start of NaNoWriMo. So like I have 7 days to both finish Project Dream book 1 and then do the outline for book 2, which it's going to be a lot of work because the way that I outline, it takes me so long. But yeah, it's exciting still. It's exciting still. But yeah, I don't really have any more questions for you guys. Is there anything you want to guys, if you want to know from me, or do we just want to, I don't know, dive right into our next sprint, our last sprint of the evening? Should take us to right before 5 o'clock if we start about in the next few minutes. So that should be good. But yeah. And if you guys have questions that you want me to answer or discussions that you want to have, I'm here for it. Yeah, anything. When I write, do I listen to anything? I usually listen to music. I believe for Project Dream Book 1, I ended up listening to one specific like spot of music on Spotify. It wasn't a playlist. I believe it was a radio. And I would go to it every time. I would just, it took so many steps to get to it because it was one of those radios that I couldn't save for some reason. I believe I went to the artist Cavetown, and then from Cavetown, I would like create a radio from that artist's music, and then I would listen to that music instead. I wouldn't listen to Cavetown's music. I would listen to the radio of it, and I listened to that the whole time I was writing the first draft of Project Dream Book 1. So that was fun. But recently, I've actually just been listening to like YouTube videos and stuff. Like BookTube, I just have on in the background as I'm working through it. But when I'm drafting, I do need just music. I'm okay with words in the songs because it like eventually just goes into the background. But it has to be a certain vibe of music. Like it's got to be like the um, calmer, just more gentle vibe, I guess is the way to say it. Do you guys listen to anything? Anything in particular? I believe Kate Kavanaugh did a video recently where she like talked about weird writing like rituals and stuff. I don't really have a writing ritual. I usually need something to drink, which is either water or coffee. Recently I need my double screen, which is next to me, but I can't hook up the double screen while I'm streaming StreamYard because it makes my computer overheat and crash. So I don't hook it up during a live stream for that reason. But yeah, Hattie mostly listens to music. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think actually previously for one of the camps, maybe it was even like NaNoWriMo last year, I ended up using Kate Kavanaugh's like daily vlogs or her videos that she was doing during that NaNoWriMo for like motivation, because every time I would watch one of her vlogs, I would get so motivated to then go write myself. So I totally agree on that one. I like watching other people write because it makes me want to write. What's your favorite part of the writing process? Well, out of the ones that I have done so far, which is drafting and like reconstructing the entire process, or like brainstorming and building and stuff, I think my favorite part conceptually is the brainstorming creation process, but like actually doing it, it's the drafting process because it's just feels like it could it just is my favorite place to be. I have yet to really get any further than that, as we discussed earlier, like getting past the second draft editing and like massive world editing type of stuff, which once I get past that part, I will revisit this question. What's your guys' favorite part of your writing experience? Hello, Charlotte. Welcome to the stream. We have one sprint left, so you came in just on time. That we're going to start in like a few minutes here. Bring us right about to 5 o'clock p.m. my time. Right to the hour mark. But yeah, I like talking about what you guys do with your writing. Like if you have any weird or interesting writing rituals or things that you have to do while writing or listen to, or things that you need to do to get you like in the groove of writing, or what is your favorite process? Hattie's is first draft. Yeah, there's something so special about a first draft. I don't know what it is, and by the time I get to the end of a first draft, I'm like, this is garbage. What did I do? But at least I wrote the story. So it's like for a while there I called them like zero drafts because really they're not good at all. But they're still a first of something. So yes. Yes, yay. Haven't made it far enough to love revisions. Nope. And I know from like my own like short story work that I did in university and like essay work that I did in university, the revision stage can be really fun too. But like I haven't done anything large enough to really do it. Yeah, yeah, same. I guess we'll all eventually get there one day. But all right, friends, should we dive into the very last sprint of the day? It should bring us right about to 5 o'clock. So I think we should get it going. Last sprint. Yes, let's do it, friends. All righty. In 3, 2, 1. Last sprint. Here we go. All right, my friends, that brings us to the end, to the final sprint. How did we all do? Oh, I feel like so accomplished because I managed to get like 3 pages of brainstorming done. And I realized that before I can start like outlining what happens in the story for Abby, I really need to figure out what like the villains of the story are doing behind the scenes, like what their big plan is, what they want to do and enact in this book, and that kind of thing. So it's really fun because the Project Dream for book 1 is very just like small town. It's in this little town and the kids like stumble upon this world in a forest. And now the book 2, they get to really explore that. So I'm going to see how much exactly they get to explore. And like these plans are going to be for not only just this book, but for the rest of it. So we have to see how much the kids get to really unravel in this book. And then they in the next book, like book 3, possibly book 4, don't know how many I'm going to do. That's when everything's going to come together. So it's nice that I'm sort of getting there, sort of planning it out. But I have to do that at least in some kind of skeletal form before I start actually plotting this book out. So in the next few days, I will have that done. Hopefully, you know what? It's kind of turning into one, which I never thought I would ever do. But yeah, it's turning into a portal fantasy, which is crazy. Never thought it was going to be like that. Hattie finished 6 more chapter summaries. Only 5 more to go. You're going to be done in like the next, if you want to do, you could be done in the next half hour, but you're leaving it till tomorrow. Yeah. Give yourself a nice good night rest. You did so much work today. Holy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But yeah. What did the rest of you get up to in that lovely last sprint? It's all very exciting. But yeah, honestly, never thought I was gonna ever do portal fantasy. I don't know enough about portals and other worlds and stuff like that, but this is going to be something like that, which is crazy how we stumble upon that kind of thing. But yeah, I was actually like sitting here thinking maybe that this was too big. Like I went from like this really tiny small town book and then like all of a sudden we're just opening it up to the world, this whole new world that they don't really know. But that is also like the magic of middle grade, that you can do that. You can really go big, which is so fun because kids will just take it and go like, okay, cool. Like this is real. Yeah, Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I've read the first one and I absolutely love Laini Taylor and I love her writing, but I just didn't like, it wasn't like a wow book for me. So I like didn't run out and get the next one, you know, but I probably will eventually read the rest of them because I really, really love her writing. Like Strange Dreamer is one of my absolute all-time favorite duologies ever. But yes. Didn't think I would be able to finish the chapter summaries until the 31st then. Oh, no problem. I'm glad I could help you guys out. And it helped me out too. I have finished my words for the day and I've got like a good head start on planning for book 2. It's crazy, crazy, crazy what I have to. And like not only book 2, but like the entire rest of the series that this is going to be, hopefully. My plan is to write and like figure out this whole story from like book 1 to the end. And then so I can go back and see if I need to really add anything into book 1 before I kind of do anything with it, maybe, or at least like kind of figure out where I'm going to go for the rest of the series roughly before I do anything with book 1, because it terrifies me to think about having a series out in the world and then getting to the last book and realizing that you need to do something in book 1 that it's not there, but it's already out in the world, you know? Like I need to have it kind of really planned out before I do that, so. Charlotte is doing reading for school. Very nice, very productive. Always hated doing my school readings. So, except if it was like interesting, like I knew a lot of because I was an English major in university. So, you know, loved most of those stories, but it was always a struggle getting to them. The 3 pages that I did, both, I think, is me. Like, this first page for sure is just for this next book because it's focusing on my character, my main character, Abby, and like what she's going to be doing in this book coming up and the problems specifically introduced in this next book. But the like world building stuff is for the whole thing, which is like what I was doing mainly with the more magical characters and like the villain of the story. So it's fun. It's a good time. But yeah. Yeah, and I even figured out her name, like the villain's name. I know this sounds ridiculous that I'm already like done the first draft of the first book and I don't have the villain's name, but I do have what she's called. She's called the Winter Witch, but I didn't have her like first name. I was like, I don't know what her first name is. So I figured that out finally, which is good. And like her motive, I found that out as well. I figured it out. So that's amazing. And I've also figured out like the master plan that's going to be enacted in this book of these villainous characters that they're going to be doing. So like that's nice. So I can figure out how that like affects my kids in the real world, that kind of a thing. So much going on. But yeah, all right. So it is now 5:07 where I am, and I should probably end this stream. Otherwise, I'll just continue chatting to you guys forever. But this has been so lovely, so productive. Thank you guys so much for coming to hang out. I hope you got a little bit of work done. And if you guys are watching this after the fact, thank you for watching it after the fact. That makes my heart happy. But yeah, have a lovely rest of your Saturday, friends. And I will catch you in another video soon and in another live stream soon. It will be great. But bye.